Hello everyone, welcome to Gradual Learning. I hope you all are good and doing well. So, we received one comment that the question answers of Woodman Spare That Tree poem should be discussed. First of all, I would like to thank all the viewers for giving such a good response on this video. We have thank you for this motivation. So now let's jump into the context. First, I'll read out the text and then we will get started with the discussion of question answers. So the poem name is Woodman, Spare That Tree. There is a detailed poem as I told you in the starting of the video as well. I'll add the link of the video in the description box. This is a poem written by George Pope Morris. So the poem starts like, Woodman, spare that tree, touch not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. It was my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. There, woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not. That old familiar tree, whose glory and renown are spread over land and sea, and wouldst thou hew it down? Woodman, forbear thy stroke. Cut not its earth-bound ties. Oh, spare that aged oak whose summit meets the skies. My father's eyes may look from out his silent grave, and I'll defend that nook against each rude behest. He loved that tree that grew beside his humble door. Then do not cut it now, woodman, spare that tree. So now here we have some question answers that I sorted out somewhere from the poem which I found to be important. So let's discuss those. I will be adding this PDF to the description and also on the Telegram channel. All the links are there in the description box. So let's get started. So the first question is, who is the speaker addressing in the poem? So here as we can see, the speaker, the narrator or the poet is addressing to the woodman, the woodcutter who is cutting his beloved tree. Next question is, what is the main request made by the speaker? So what is he requesting? He is requesting that please do not cut this tree. This tree has nurtured me in my childhood. So now it's my turn to protect it. Why does the speaker want to save the tree? As we saw in the stanzas of the poem that this tree nurtured the poet in the childhood when he was small, when he was a young kid. So he has a kind of attachment with this tree and hence he does not want it to be cut down. Secondly, this was somewhere planted by the speaker's forefather or great grandfather or father, right? So it is a generational kind of tree for them, a tradition for them. So that is why they do not want it to break down, right? This is the reason that tree sheltered the speaker during youth. So when he was young, tree was taking care of the poet, of the speaker. And secondly, it was planted by the speaker's forefather, making it a family symbol of love and memory. Let's proceed to the next question. What emotions are expressed in the poem? So here we see love, nostalgia. Nostalgia means something, old memories which are coming in the present into your mind. Reverence for nature means, reverence means protection here, importance and protection for the nature, and a strong emotional attachment to the past time. What is the central theme of the poem? It is for nature, love for nature, respect for ancestry. Ancestry means something who has been carried forward or brought from your or started by your ancestors, your father or maybe great grandfathers or grandfathers, and still it is there with you, a family traditional thing. So that is called ancestry and preservation of family heritage. Okay, question 6 says, what message does the poet convey through the poem? So through this poem, the poet is conveying the message of protecting the nature and respecting old tree. And here he says that the old trees, they represent as the symbol of life and history, right? So like in this poem, the tree has nurtured the poet, and it has some historical ancestral relevance, a family heritage kind of thing, which is associated with the poet, right? Question 7 says, identify the rhyme scheme of first stanza. So when we talk about the rhyming scheme, this is a poem. Now, rhyming scheme means the last word, whatever the sound that the last word is carrying, we try to find the same or similar sound in the next line or in the following lines. So here in the first stanza, I'll read the first 4 lines first. Woodman spare that tree, touch not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. So when you see tree and me, they both are giving E sound. So let's give them a name A. Why A? Because here both the sounds are similar. So we will mark them as A. Right? You can use capital A, small a, whatever you like. Then bow and now. Ow sound is coming in both of these words, bow and now. So here we will give it a different name. We will mark it as B. This is a different sound. Now coming to the next 4 lines. It was my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. There, Woodman, let it stand. Thy axe shall harm it not. So hand and stand, they are ending with the same sound, and, right? So the sounds, the ending sound should be similar. So we will give it name as C and C. Caught and not, again similar sounds are there, and we will name it as D and D. So if you find another pair of rhyming words in the following lines or the following stanza, if they have the same sound with any of these which are still there in the first stanza, then you will mark them the same. Like if you see in the second stanza, that old familiar tree whose glory and renown are spread over land and sea, and would thou hew it down. So again tree, see, same sound, just like tree and me in stanza 1. Renown, down are same sounds, but this sound was not there in the first stanza, right? So we will mark it as E. After D, which letters come? E. So each pair of similar sound or rhyming words will be given a particular letter to identify that these two sounds are similar, and throughout the poem the same kind of rhyming scheme will be maintained. So here what is the sound in the first line? It is A, then second is B, then third line A, then fourth line B, then fifth line C, next line D, next C, and last line D. So A B A B C D C D is the rhyming scheme here. So identify the rhyme scheme of the first stanza A B A B C D C D. 8. What is the tone of the poem? The tone is emotional. Pleading means requesting and respectful. Question 9. What image do you form of the tree described in the poem? So in the poem, the tree is being described as a large, old and majestic tree. Majestic means something which is of great importance, right? And this tree is also reaching towards the sky. So it's a tall, large, old and majestic tree. Question number 10. Name any two poetic devices used in the poem. So there are two poetic devices. One is apostrophe. Apostrophe is when you are saying something to any other object or maybe a person, but you are not getting any reward from them. So that is called apostrophe. So here the poet is speaking directly to the woodman. He is asking questions, but he is not getting any answer from the woodman. So it's a one-way communication. Second is repetition. Repetition is repetition of a line or a phrase again and again to show its importance. Like here, the line, the phrase, Woodman spare that tree has been used again and again. Question 11. Give an example of imagery from the poem. So what is imagery? Imagery is the use of such words which lets you use your sense organs to feel them. Like if I say the word buzz, buzz is a sound, right? So when you read these words like buzz, splash, so you automatically hear those sounds or creates that kind of image in your mind, right? So when your sense organs are applied, are used while reading such words or such sentences, there we say it is the use of imagery. Like here in the sentence, whose summit meets the sky. So here the meeting of the sky and the tree is being mentioned in this line, that the so this is an imagery. And when you read such lines, the image of meeting the tree, of touching the sky of the tree is being mentioned or is being created. Such images are being created in your mind. Question 12. Identify and explain personification in the poem. So personification is a poetic device where we let the inanimate objects act like humans, right? So inanimate objects, non-living things, they are given such words or phrases that they now become like humans. Like here in this poem, cut knot its earthbound ties. So ties, it's a knot. So here it is referring, the poet is referring to some knots which are being tied with the earth, right? So here the tree is personified as having human like connections with the earth, to the earth, right? Question 13, find an example of alliteration in the poem. So alliteration means repetition of same consonant sound. So here in this line, Woodman spared that tree. That and tree are an example of alliteration because here the repetition of same consonant sound is there. T, t in that, and t in tree. Question number 14. How does repetition contribute to the mood of the poem? So, when the repetition, Woodman spared that tree, is being there again and again, it is being repeated. So, it is adding urgency and an emotion of requesting, a requesting emotion is being added to the poem. So, it adds an urgency as well as emotion to the speaker's request, that he is getting emotional, and even he is creating urgency that please spare that tree well in time. Question 15. What figure of speech is used in the line, whose glory and renown are spread over land and sea? So the figure of speech used here is hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech where we exaggerate the things, right? They are not so big, but we make them so big. Like as in, a king can be glorified, his powers, his good deeds can be glorified. But yes, it is not possible for a tree to be glorified, to be famous, to be popular, right? But here the poet is saying that this tree has got its glory and is famous all around the world, all around the seas, right? So this is so famous, just like a king. So he is making an exaggerating emotion here. He is exaggerating the situation here, that this tree is as big and as important like a king, right? Not exactly like a king, just from the words glory and renown, I'm trying to make you understand that as much as a king is popular, this tree is also popular, and which is a situation that cannot happen. A king can have glory, but a tree cannot. Why is the poem considered lyrical? Because of its song like rhythm and emotional appeal. So, lyrical is when you have song like lines in the poem, that is called lyrical. You have a rhythm, you have a song, right? So, here it has got a song like rhythm, and at the same time, there is some emotional appeal as well. Emotional request is also there. So, that is why it makes the poem lyrical. Next question. How does the poet connect nature and human emotions? So, the tree symbolizes family, memory, and love here. Right? So, these three things are linking nature with human feelings. So, this is how the poet is showcasing the connection between nature and human emotions. Last question. What lesson can we learn from the poem? So, we learn the lesson that we should respect and preserve, means save, nature as it holds emotional and environmental importance. So, if you are nurturing a plant from a very young age, automatically you will get some emotions attached to it. At the same time, a tree, we know it is of much importance to the environment too. So, both the things are important here, and it makes us learn the lesson that we should respect the nature, as well as they carry some emotional value as well to some extent. So that's all for this video. We will be connecting soon in the next video. In the comments, let me know if there is any other doubt, or if you want video on any particular topic, do let me know. Thank you. Have a good day. Meet you next time.